So we're just a few months away from MIPIM, which means that the agenda's getting finalized. We're seeing more and more come out about what we can expect come March. Anything you can tease for us, Jake?
Blimey, where do I start? There's a lot going on. I think the two big new topics and developing topics for us and what we're talking about as MIPIM. The first is data centers and AI. I think it can't sort of hide from that massively growing segment of the industry. So we've got two workshops that we're running across MIPIM on data centers. We've got a whole sort of half day of AI focused content that we're organizing. I think the main aim of what we're trying to do is bring the sort of tech players in with the real estate players. So what we're not getting into is just here's a room with all of the people who are interested in data centers. You just sit in that room on your own. It's about bringing a collective discussion together and having that sort of meaningful closed door conversation.
We're holding a How to Do MIPIM Well event later this month, which is very exciting. And in it, it's all about kind of providing practical advice on how to do MIPIM well. It's all in the name. But one of the things I always advise people on their first MIPIM is I say, take some time and just walk around the whole pavilions and check them all out, because it is fascinating to walk into Saudi Arabia's pavilion and you see the level of ambition, and it's inspiring as well. So it really does build into all of that, and you just see like all the world in one place. And that's an opportunity you don't want to miss.
No, for sure. I think I can't remember who it was who told me, I'm stealing someone's line, but they said the best way to do MIPIM is to split your time up in thirds. So a third pre-booked meetings, a third engaging with content, networking events, and then a third just wandering around and being open to whatever you stumble across and learn, because there's 50 events in one event. You've got a hospitality, tourism and leisure pavilion. You've got these data center sessions. We've got a housing summit that happens on the Monday. You can be quite closed off, and you can go to events like this and just sit and be tunnel vision on, I've got this meeting, I'm going to speak to this person who is in the UK, and you think, actually, you're at a global real estate conference. Open yourself up to the rest of the world and go and discover something you don't know, and go and challenge your own business.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that what you just said there reminds me of the decision that we took some months ago to do an INL event. So first for the North in terms of an opportunity that hasn't happened for a long time since Shedmasters were at MIPIM. So having an INL conversation for us as an area of the UK that has more land and more accessibility for sheds is quite a big thing. So I'm looking forward to that as a new event for a new sector for people to come and engage in.
And we've also got a session on the UK stand where we're going to be discussing as well the importance of the North's role in power. We are transforming the UK economy, and I think it's time that the region got to shine the way it should. So we're going to be talking about data centers as well, because we know Blackpool's going to be there with Place North, and they're going to be celebrating what's going on with Silicon Sands, which is sustainable data centers, which is just two phrases you don't think would be aligned together, but they are, and what they're doing is really fantastic. So it's good to be able to talk about that. We'll be talking about the green energy revolution up this way, and how, you know, the North was the leader of the Industrial Revolution, and now we're ready to be the leader for the next step. So it's really exciting to be leaning into those discussions at MIPIM.
Yeah, no, and also that sort of leans in quite nicely to our new delegation, Scotland MIPIM delegation, which of course the country's doing great things around power and energy as well. So, you know, in terms of the North of England and Scotland both attending MIPIM this year, with those sort of sectors in their back pocket is quite a powerful sort of thing to take to the world.
So I want to talk about housing though, because you mentioned there's the Housing Matters Summit. Yeah. First day.
It's on the Monday. Well, day -1 technically. But on Monday afternoon and into the afternoon. So last year we had 3 European housing ministers present. So we had the housing minister from France, Germany and Spain on site. Seeing if we can do a bit better than that even more this year. Still TBC, but it's looking like it's shaping up to be a fantastic program. I mean, I think 3 years ago when we first ran the event, I think the tagline was sort of bringing people together to solve the European housing crisis, which I'm not sure was necessarily manageable in 1 year. But I think it's what MIPIM's about. It's about bringing people together from whole different countries, walks of life, to learn from each other's experiences, to see what solutions has someone else discovered. You know, let's not make the same mistakes that other countries or regions or cities have made. Let's learn from them and really accelerate that change. The thing that we have in the UK is that public-private partnership, and to be able to lean on that and showcase that, and to have the depth of delegations that we're now growing in the UK, especially in the north of England and in Scotland, that's fantastic that we can put that on display. Because ultimately when you see conversations happening with investors, they want to see developers, architects, local authorities, service providers standing hand in hand saying we're on the same page, we're on the same agenda. We might not agree on everything, but we're all here and we're all engaged and we're all in the room and you can talk to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the thinking of when you came to me and said, you know, we've got this space available, and it was an upgrade opportunity for us to sort of do more. I knew that I could use it, and that's the North of England suite that we're doing, and that's allowed us to upgrade the Scotland delegation to have a stand within the UK hub. So, you know, you're now putting both of our delegations up on a pedestal to say, well, look at the cities and towns that are coming. You know, you've got Glasgow, Edinburgh, Dundee, you know, go Salford, Blackpool. You know, we've just done a significant agreement with Homes England as well, which is going to land well with a lot of people. So it's bringing all those people, as you say, together to show the partnerships, to show how there's already an existing collaboration and understanding, so that investors can come in and land fairly cleanly and easily in the UK and do the business they want to do.
And we're definitely making sure that we do that with the sessions that we're hosting. So obviously there's the Investable North sessions on the North of England stand itself. But there's also then going to be at the UK hub, we're doing another Investable North. It'll be like a Dragon's Den meets property session where we'll bring in communities to kind of make their pitch about why they should be investing in their area, which is so important because one thing she mentioned is that MIPIM's bringing together some of the biggest investors in the world. So you want to make sure that, you know, the North has a moment to say, hey, here's our pitch, pay attention to us.
And it's how you stand out. It's the format, and that's something that we've been really focusing on, you know, globally as MIPIM over the last couple of years, is challenging those formats. So often you go to real estate events and you've got 5 people sat on the stage on sort of matching chairs. You've got a couple of agents, a developer, an investor, and you can sort of rinse and repeat some of that content. We've been really trying to challenge what formats we're doing, and to hear stuff like Dragon's Den, that's a great idea. But you know, things like that. We've done events where we've pulled together 5 people from across the industry, and we've sort of almost picked a new job out of the hat and gone, you're no longer from a local authority, you're a property developer, and sit on this stage and argue a different point for once. And it's things like that that challenge people, open their minds and get different results.
I was actually looking at the MIPIM website today, and I was reminding myself of some of the new taglines you had. So one of the taglines is 1 week, a year of business. And I think that so sums up MIPIM for us, and also what we want our clients to kind of, you know, get from MIPIM as well. It's not just about what you do on the day and, you know, when you're in the south of France. It's about everything that comes out after that. And that's where, you know, obviously that we're hoping to kind of sit to help people build on and help grow their brand. So it's not just, you know, a one day and done. It's really make it a year-long campaign and let this be part of it.
100%. You know, that's essentially how the conversation started with Scotland.
Yeah.
Was that we had partners in the north of England who said, look, can you do this for us? Scotland needs to be back. And this was a private sector-led initiative to begin with. Their time, their money. And now, you know, you've got, you know, 3 of the biggest cities attending, you've got a wealth of private sector, and things are happening in Cannes that will yield business. I know it yields business. We've done it before, and we're going to do it again in March, and it will work. The challenge was trying to make it easy for people, both from a price point and actually a sort of logistical point of view. So giving a skeleton of work that we've worked with together to enable that to be part of the UK stage, part of the hub, part of a suite. You make it easy, so you say, well, look, it's all here. Be part of this, it's all here. Your hand is held all the way through. And if you want to add more to it, go and do it. But you're safe in the knowledge that you're being chaperoned and looked after and put in a room with the right people, and then it's amplified after on the websites and the news and the video and all the rest of it. So it's very exciting, all of it.
It's taking the stress away so you can focus on doing the business that matters.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, I'm really passionate about lowering the barriers of entry to MIPIM as much as possible, and half of that is education. It's what is the event and what am I doing? We're really conscious. It's a cost to go to MIPIM. It's half a week to a week of your time as a business, the prep time, it's the cost financially to go to Cannes and send your team to Cannes. It has to be intentional, and there has to be reward there that's very, very clearly mapped. And you know, the fact that exists means that you've got those decision makers there. So, you know, people aren't going to send junior members of staff necessarily, because this is about it's an expense. We're going there to do business. And there's a cost side of that, but the reward side of that is you're in Cannes with over 20,000 decision makers from across Europe and around the world. And that's an incredible opportunity, because you're not going to get that time where it's a sort of walled garden with those people who have free time and are sat there and open to conversation, out of their comfort zone, open to hearing new opportunities. I can't think of any other event that provides that in such a sort of closed environment.
It's incredible how business gets done in that way, but it does. And the truth of it is that really, unless you've been and you've seen it, you don't know exactly how that's been. So that's why we built what we built last year and now for this year, is to allow people to do that at the most sort of affordable way that they can. The truth is that this year and last year we have included all of the events that we're now doing as part of the package that we do at Place North. So we have moved away from being able to serve everybody like we used to do as a full community, but I think that was a conscious decision. You know, you'd be part of the delegation, you're part of a group of businesses going, and therefore you will get access to MIPIM as part of what you do with Place North in order for you to get the best out of it. I don't think just going to Cannes and doing the bars and restaurants and fringes is the best out of your time of 5 days out of the UK. It isn't. It does a job if you want, but it isn't a proper job. So we made that decision for the market, and funnily enough, it hasn't made any difference to our numbers. In fact, actually, we're up. So you know that's got to count for people's ambition, the north of England and Scotland's ambition to do things properly. And I think given that Scotland is the first time since 2019, and the north of England in this way is year 2. That it bodes well, right? It's got to be that this thing keeps growing and gives more.
Well, if you want to know more about what's going on at MIPIM, check out placenorth.co.uk, and hopefully we'll see you there.